arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy.
And look at Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn one.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport.
Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Kor clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my God, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail when it hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to the Chaz Draycott Media, if I can say it right, Clio Cup, and welcome to the penultimate round of this first ever season here from the delightful, the beautiful, the sensational Red Bull Ring, known to you and me of the 90s as the A1 Ring. My name is Chaz Draycott, delighted to have alongside me in the commentary box once again Dara Thacker. Dara, we've had such a good season, a really interesting race meeting back at Zolder last time. This is a very different kettle of fish round here though, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's a very exciting circuit. Big braking zones and great overtaking spots. I will note that you clearly weren't talking to me when you said the 90s, because, you know, I've only known it as Red Bull Ring. But yeah, looking forward to this one tonight. It is a circuit which I think will give us chances to see moves at every single corner, particularly in these cars. And with the championship finale in 7 days' time, drivers are going to want to get their times on the board early, get themselves some good points tonight. And this is a track that they'll know very well indeed.
Absolutely will. It's Dan McCauley that comes here as the championship leader. A pretty healthy margin over Alex Fretwell and Sam Van Alst. Matt Hoyland had a fantastic time back at Zolder. I think it was a win, a second, and then another win, if I remember rightly. It feels like forever ago since we were at Zolder. It's probably because I didn't have to do that much stewarding. Never mind, it was a first, a ninth, and a first, so I don't know where I got second place from for him. Either way, it's going to be a great night of racing, I think, and the championship is very, very much up for grabs. You've got Ian Stitchbury and Lee Berridge both tied on points, but both of them aren't actually here tonight, which is a big shame. We've got Goldsus leading the way in the Teams Championship. They're going to be hard to beat. In fact, they could actually take the Teams Championship title here tonight, Dara, and I think, to be fair, they might be thinking about that just as a bit of honour, knowing that the drivers aren't quite in the championship fight. Well, at least Jack Johns isn't anyway.
No, but it does mean that we do have a few drivers that are still going to be feeling pretty confident going into tonight, feeling like they have a chance. And yeah, interesting to see what Fretwell can do. Obviously with McCauley there as well. Look, they're third and fourth at the moment. They're next to each other in this practice session as we wind towards the end of it before we get in towards qualifying. Even though, I mean, this is known, in F1 terms as a short track, isn't it? It's just about 65 seconds now with the new cars, but you could really do it in 64 before. It's going to be 108 seconds for us in these Clios, which means we'll get less laps in, but it means that every overtaking opportunity is going to be even more important for our drivers tonight.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it, really, that it's such a long lap. Here's the new look next-gen car for Adam Delmont. Lovely looking machine. This is one of the Renault Castrol liveries. In fact, I don't think this is actually the next-gen livery. I might have to just give this a bit of a refresh, if you bear with me. Because that, I know that livery, I've seen that livery in real life, actually, when I used to commentate on Clio Cup Europe, but no, for some reason, Adam's got the livery, but he's not put it on trading paints. Good to see James Underhill back with us again this evening. He joins his teammate Ashley Beard for Spontex CDM Esports in their lovely little white machines. Danny Weir is 13th at the moment, ahead of James Pallett. We've then got Ben Gregory and James Holman making up a 15-car field. And practice has just finished, and we will head into qualifying. Now, this view here that I've set up at turn 1, I've wanted to sort of keep this camera here because one of my favourite videos I've ever had the chance of capturing was stood right here. And it was on a day like this, where there was GT3 cars around as well. It was gorgeous conditions. It was absolutely lovely. Really great place to be. So is this, the pit lane, as the drivers all make their way out onto the track. Anyone you've got your eye on here, Dara? Because the qualifying sessions of late have been very up in the air, haven't they? And we don't really know who's going to finish at the top spot.
I'll keep an eye on Delmont. He could be someone that springs a bit of a surprise. Yeah, and Osberg as well, a driver that on his day it can pop it up at the top. Difficult to say early on. Practice is, I mean, it's just a scyther, isn't it? No one really pushes flat out in practice. I don't want to give too much away. You're more likely to push flat out in any other session that you've done in the week leading up to this, but let's see how they go. 15 minutes, but with 100 seconds a lap and 900 seconds, I reckon they're only going to get about 5 or 6 timed runs in, if that. So it's not. I mean, it feels like you've got a lot of time when you've got 15 minutes, but when you put it like that, it doesn't really feel like you've got too much wiggle room.
No, the session's going to disappear very quickly. All it's going to take is to botch 2 of those laps, and it's all of a sudden going to feel like you've not had any time to get the session sorted at all. We've got Jean Brayton back on screen right now in the barbecue bread racing machine. Gorgeous race car, looks fantastic in the sunshine here in Austria. And I'm very excited to see how this shapes up the final round of the season, because there's a few drivers that obviously have to think about the bigger picture here. Dan McCauley being one of them. There's James Holman at the side of the road. Hopefully that doesn't cause any further hindrance to anyone else, but James clearly sorting out some sort of technical issue. But Dan McCauley, who I just mentioned there, championship leader coming into the last 2 race meetings of the season. And I think there's going to be a bit of pressure on him here, Dara. He's had the championship lead for a little bit now, but you really have to think about the fact that it's so close behind him. anybody could take it, really, if they just have a good night. I mean, look at Hoyland last time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to be his concern. I think he's going to try and play this safe as you would, right? I think going out, a minute after everybody else underlines that. He's not going to take any risks. He's actually actively trying to keep himself in a nice window, and rather than just kind of going with it, which I think, if anything, could be a little bit dangerous, because if you start overthinking stuff, that's when it feels like it can get a little bit unstuck. So he's got to be careful, but he's the one in a position that everybody wants to be. So he's the one in more control of his destiny than anybody else is.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 3 races left in this championship after tonight, so we've got 75 points available. So as long as Goldsus can outscore HW Racing here tonight, that is Sam Van Olst and Jack Johns, then they will win the team's championship, because they are currently 75 points clear. Although no, actually, I tell fibs, many fibs, because let's not forget, it's not just the maximum points for one driver, you've got the maximum points for second place as well in each of those races. So clearly I shouldn't be trusted to do the numbers. Quite simply. But I can have a look at what the amounts would be that they'd need. I mean, they're in pretty good stead for having a solid score already, aren't they? I mean, they're both very, very quick. As long as they stay out of incidents, they should be all right. It's 135 points that they need to be ahead by, so they need to gain 60 on the HW Racing duo of Matt Hoyland and Danny Weir. I don't think that's doable tonight, to be fair, because Matt's been on form for sure. Danny's been scoring consistent points again recently. Plenty to do.
Yep, a lot, I think, for them to make it tonight, but I mean, they've got a 75-point lead. I mean, realistically, as long as they don't crash tonight, they'll be absolutely fine. Come next week, that'll be what they're looking at. Delmont, glad I said Adam could be fast. He's 4/10 clear of the field.
Yeah.
At the moment, 48.5 is that benchmark. Still many times to come through, obviously, but he's at the head of the train and head of the pack at the minute.
Ben Gregory here getting a bit friendly with James Holman a bit further around the lap. God, it looks like they're going so slow here, doesn't it? It doesn't look like they're doing any pace whatsoever around this part of the lap. They're doing 104 miles an hour over the crest of the hill onto the brakes. Really gentle down the hill there. You have to be so careful. Back when the Clio Cup Europe was here in 2021, I remember getting all the notifications through in the evening at like 1 in the morning when all the penalties were finally sorted out because of track limits. I think they had 62 penalties for track limits for the weekend. It was pretty incredible. And yeah, the stewards were certainly busy very late. Oh, James Holman there. Hop, skip and a jump over the curb. Did you see how that car got unsettled then, Dara? Wow, that happened quickly.
You don't really want that to be happening too often. I mean, it's not an ideal situation to put yourself in, is it, with a car moving underneath you? This isn't a circuit where you'd necessarily expect to feel unsettled in the car. Generally, you feel quite planted here. There's not many corners where you're playing on the throttle, maybe through 5 and 6, but it's not as high speed as it could be in some Formula cars. So interesting, and I don't think that'll settle in too much. If you want to feel confident in your car, and if you can't in qualifying, then well, that's not going to be great for the races.
No, absolutely. You want to be putting in a fast lap in quali as a bit of a representation, but you want to be putting consistent fast laps in during the race, of course. So you want to be making sure that you keep a consistent pace over the course of the evening. Still, Delmont fastest by 0.4 of a second from Alex Fretwell, Sam Van Olst, James Holman, Jan Osberg. No time yet from Dan McCauley. He currently finds himself with 1 lap completed, but no improvement. James Pallett is improving. John Roberts is about to set a representative time, I think, although he seems to have backed out a little bit in the final sector there. He does actually improve in the final sector. I'll shut up, shall I? He goes 12th fastest. What about Ben Gregory? He's the next one to come round and cross the line. Let's see what he's got in the tank. Oh, you can hear the revs dropping as they get on the brakes. Oh, I think that might be a bit much there for Ben, and he might have lost that lap. I don't know if that will count. It's 3 personal best sectors. And I don't think... No, it's not a valid time. What about McCauley then? Championship leader. He was surprised at Zolder that he could get a race win because he didn't qualify too well. I think he was 10th on the grid. What about this, Dara? Do you think he's got it in him here at the Red Bull Ring?
You'd think he should. Oh, well,
Never mind.
I've been up with that line. This lap won't be valid for Dan McCauley, so he's going to have to go again. I don't know. I kind of worry that he's starting to put himself under a bit too much pressure. I mean, he's said all season long that he's not really focusing on it too much. What will happen will happen. And I mean, in a way, it's good to be somewhat nonchalant about it, right? But in a way, you kind of do want to be, or have a little bit of chalant to you, to just ensure that you have enough confidence and feel like you're settled enough to be able to take the title. I'm glad you enjoyed my use of language there.
Nothing like a sprinkling of chalant about your evening.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be overwhelmed by it. You don't want to be underwhelmed by it. You kind of want to be whelmed by the situation, don't you?
Yeah, you don't want to be overly chalant.
Yes, exactly. Call up Oxford. I mean, get the dictionary out. This is some good stuff.
Is that a word? Is chalant a word? I know there's nonchalant, but I'm gonna. What is the meaning of?
Chalant.
Chalant is an informal slang term.
Yeah. You're reading the same thing.
Yeah. We both Googled that at the exact same moment. That's fantastic. Oh dear. Well,
it's not standard word in English dictionaries. That's the key. There we go.
Oh, Ben Gregory. That's a very chalant line. Remember, you can't reset in quali, Ben. You could see him remember then. He's got to do a whole lap now before he can then go again. Dan McCauley backing out of that one as Alex Fretwell goes by. No improvement for Dan in this final sector, I'm sure. He's going to head back into the pits. What about Fretwell in the 52 machine? Around the final corner he goes. Currently third, and he's on an outlap. So he will now be winding it up to go for a quick time. Hoyland has gotten closer to Delmont. He's only just over a tenth of a second away from him. But this is good stuff from Adam. I mean, he made a very good debut back at Zolder. He's showing some excellent pace again now. It wasn't a flash in the pan.
No, wasn't at all. Showing that pace is sticking around, which is always good for him. I'm sure it'll give him a nice boost coming into this evening's trio of 20-minute races. Still, only 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Time's kind of just evaporated, isn't it, from us? Only a couple more laps are going to be able to be set. When the timer hits 0, that will be that. So, I mean, they've only got another, 3.5 minutes to get around. So, 3 laps tops here for all of these guys, which is not a long time, particularly when the championship leader hasn't even got a time on the board yet. So, yeah, this will be interesting. John Breitenbach improves to P7. Matt Hoyland is going very fast through the middle sector. Can he jump ahead of Delmont? No. And then we've got the likes of Palo and Gregory coming through, but I'm not sure Gregory will improve on the entirety of the lap after the difficulties he had towards turn 1 this time.
Simon says as an official representative of Oxford, we're both full of it. I mean, yeah, we knew that. We know that completely. But yeah, we
a bit rude doing it.
He's honest. He says it how it is to Simon. Ben Gregory across the line. I think that might be his first valid lap of the session. He really took it easy in that final chicane. No. It's not even a chicane. It's final corner. But Ben Gregory's still no time on the board. And Ben is one that very often qualifies well up near the sharp end. Sounded like Ashley Beard had a bit of a lively time through the first corner there. Jack John's back out on the circuit. Strange to see Jack all the way down in 9th as well. He's just got back from Italy as Jack, so maybe he's not had much time to practice, but yeah, it's once again a qualifying session that's showing us a really topsy-turvy order, which is what we love about CDM Clio Cup.
It is. What's happened to John Roberts? How has he managed to get a meatball flag in qualifying at the Red Bull Ring? Not entirely sure how he's managed that. Did he ride the curb, maybe?
Oh, no, I know what he's going to have done. I know what he's going to have done here. He's going to crash into the pit lane at the top.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that checks out.
I mean,
Let's have a look.
if he's got meatball flag damage, then I don't mind him resetting to the pit lane from here, but he's going to get to the top and he's going to understeer into the barrier.
Yeah, that's not ideal. He won't want to do that again.
I don't think he wanted to do it the first time.
Oh, yeah. Hoyland improves his time, but it's still not faster than Delmont, 400ths away he is. Is that Stuart Clark to the line? I think it is. Or James Pallett. No, sorry, it's Adam Delmont. What am I talking about? He goes even faster. He puts another little up to himself and Hoyland. Gregory needs to set a lap time. He's about to come around the final corner now. He's not going particularly quickly compared to his other times because he's set 2 slower sectors, but at any time will be a good time considering that he's only got time for 1 more attempt. What's it going to be to the line, Ben Gregory? Is it on the board?
Still no.
Again? Oh my gosh.
Wow, so Ben Gregory, James Pallow and Dan McCauley, no lap times for those guys at the moment, one of which is our championship leader. So, very strange stuff. Dan's under pressure because he's got Drew watching tonight. He's got the Series 1 boss watching this evening. Drew is going to be whispering sweet nothings in his ears, talking about gin. But he's going to be, yeah, I'm sure, feeling a bit of pressure now, is Dan. And yeah, classic Roberts buys a new car. There's this running joke that a few of us did a Euro Truck Simulator convoy a few years ago, and John has got so much money on that game, like it's in the 900s of billions. Like money doesn't matter to John, so we all just joke about John having all the money in the world all the time. So Simon's saying that John can just buy another car. Basically, he'll pay to have the barrier removed, which I think is great. Dan McCauley has to do this lap, and that is it. He has to make this lap count. We've got not much movement in the rest of the field, but Dan McCauley is going to cross the line, subject to this lap being on pace, just as the session finishes. This is going to be incredible. Holman's gone up to second. It's going down to the wire, this session.
Yep, it's going to come down to the final second or so. Goodness me, Norton keeps sending me that they've secured a threat, and it keeps blocking my screen. But I have just
it's
about
my
enough
stream
room to see the time in town. Yeah. Let's see if there's any chance then for our championship leader to get a time on the board. I mean, he needs it. I mean, Hoyland and Fretwell are 3rd and 4th. They're in good position for the start of race 1. I don't know, is he gaming out the reverse grids for race 2 early on? Who knows? Ben Gregory's set a time. Hooray. It's only P13 though, and that won't please him too much, because that's his session over.
Yeah.
Jack Johns is done for the session. He stays in 9th. Ashley Beard is done. He stays in 8th. Fretwell, then Holman. Holman will be next as they come around the final couple of corners. Is there any improvement for them?
Let's have a look. Fretwell pulls the car all the way over to the right-hand side. Nothing there. Holman improved in the first sector. Is it enough to go fastest? He needed 73 thousandths of a second. No, it doesn't look like it for James Holman. And the driver that everyone's waiting to see cross the line here is Dan McCauley. He's going to claim this is for entertainment, but he's really left this down to the wire with just 12 seconds left of qualifying. He tips the car into the final corner, keeps it nice and tidy on the inside. McCauley to the line. Is it going to be enough to take pole position? I don't think so. It's going to be a valid time. Surely he goes 10th fastest at the line. That's the 2nd week in a row where he's qualified 10th, Dara. Wow. He's got some work to do.
I mean, he kind of did it to himself there in terms of, leaving it till the end to set a valid lap time means that you're never going to be able to throw everything at it in that final lap, and he's only 10th. I mean, I'm pleased I mentioned Adam Delmont at the start, though. You know, that's me done. I'll be off.
Hate to say I told you so. Adam Delmont and James Holman, 2 drivers that have only competed in a handful of race meetings this season. They've got nothing to lose, and the 2 of them will start side by side on the front row of the grid. Then it's Matt Hoyland alongside Alex Fretwell, both of them hoping to take points, and Sam Van Olst actually hoping to take points away from Dan McCauley. We'll keep our eyes on the points as they race. Jan Ostberg is in 6th position, 3rd row of the grid for him. He's ahead of Jean Breitenbach and Ashley Beard. Jack Johns and Dan McCauley make up the 5th row, with James Underhill alongside John Roberts on row 6. Then it's Danny Weir and Ben Gregory on the 7th row. Stuart Clark set a time good enough for 15th, and James Pallett did not set a valid time before the end of the session. Track limits hard to avoid around here, to be fair, Dara, and we've seen that already. Could that come into play in the races? I'm not sure.
Good. I mean, it's very, very, very easy to walk it off the road here because the racing lines effectively push you to the extremities of the circuit. Overstep that just a little bit by racing a little bit too hard, overdriving the car and touching the battle, which is so easy to do, and all of a sudden you're picking up incident points. So you've got to be careful, but it is only a 20-minute race, so you'd think not, right?
You'd hope not. I think that's the other thing to think about here. Sam Van Olst is seemingly not taking to the grid. I'm not sure if he's just leaving it a bit longer for everybody else. But there's one spot. Oh, there he is. He's just filled it as the timer ticks down to nearly 2 minutes. The revs will rise then, and the first race of the night in round number 7 of the CDM Clio Cup from Red Bull Ring is underway. And it looks like a solid start from Holman and Hoyland. It looks like Delmont loses a little bit of pace compared to those two off the initial launch. Not many of them really moving around into the first couple of corners. They're going to remain 2 by 2, although the top 3 actually go single file. Good stuff from them. Jack Johns and Dan McCauley side by side as they started, but at the very front, Delmont holds the lead, and it's Holman now under pressure from Hoyland up towards the heavy braking zone for the first time.
Yep, and Mike Hoyland's going to be in a good position on the inside line. Can he make anything work into the braking zone? Uphill, of course, gravity will help you stop, and he will stop on the inside line. Everyone's seeming to get through quite nicely. A little bit of barging as they work their onto the exit of 3, but in the end, everything seems fine, and Delmont's clear away at the front. Holman has slipped back into P2, and Hoyland's trying to find the right line, and they're both trying to find the slipstream.
Yeah, they're both trying to move around a little bit. It's a shame that the iRacing version of this Clio doesn't have half of the strength of slipstream that the real machine does, because they would be all over each other running down into that braking zone if that was the case. I do want to keep my eye on this battle between Ashley Beard, Jack Johns and Dan McCauley. Obviously Dan wanting to regain some places and help his championship charge, because the other drivers that are in the championship hunt with him are all inside the top 5. You've got Hoyland in 3rd place, Fretwell in 4th, Van Olst in 5th. Hoyland runs a little bit wide there. Oh, Fretwell bumping and bouncing his way over the curbs. Van Olst now tries to fill the gap on the left-hand side, and Fretwell, well, he's left the door slightly open there and left himself under attack, because they're surely going to go side by side into there, nearly hooking one another. Goodness me, this is close stuff, gentlemen. Through the final corner. Nice stuff, that. Nice stuff indeed. Very feisty side-by-side action. Whoa, big movement everywhere.
Yeah, no one can get the final corner right, can they?
No.
On the opening lap of the race with the higher fuel loads, but Hoyland's got it right into P2. Holman's going to have to sit behind and wait. They single file out in the top half as they get towards turn 1, but Dan McCauley's going to secure P9 ahead of Ashley Beard, side-by-side in behind with Danny Weir and John Roberts for 13th and for 14th. Clark and Paolo just trying to pick their way through, not getting themselves too heavily involved, but also making sure that if something, or if an opportunity presents itself, they're there to snaffle it up. But at the front of the field, it's still going to be a single file again in towards turn 3. Wonder how long it'll take before they start, starting eating time out of each other, or eating some, what am I talking about? Going for some gaps by the end of this race.
You're hungry.
What we saw there from Hoyland there, he went wide at turn 3. That's what I was talking about before, about how it's just very easy to, go a little bit wide, maybe pick up an incident point. You've got to be careful, because you do that 2 or 3 times in a lap and they're going to start adding up quick.
Yeah, they really will. We're not going to have too many laps round here, but if you think about it, if you've got 4 areas of the circuit where you can trigger an off-track and go just outside of the track limits, then you really are going to start piling them on, and they may get drive-through penalties. So you might see people try and sort of save them for later in the race. It's not the most sporting thing to do, but you do see people try and save incident points for later on in the race, so they can, push the track limits a bit more later and get away with more. There's a little bit of a moment there for Delmont. You heard him have to come off the throttle and back on it again as he went through the left-hander, and he still ran that little bit wide. He's really pushing this car, is Delmont, and it's great to see it. He has always been very quick in touring car machinery, is Adam.
Oh.
He's really taking the mick there, and he's got a slow-down penalty. Hoyland's going to take the race lead, and well, Hoyland said it's just taken him a long time to get his act together this season. And right now, well, he has got his act together, although Delmont serving the slowdown-ish. There was nothing too untoward about that, really. He stayed on the racing line. He slowed down a little bit, but now he's really going to lose out, I think. He's moved over to the right, actually, to let Hoyland go.
He hadn't served into someone, I think, and now he's going to lose the 1, the 2. Fretwell and Van Olst, are they going to come through as well? Fretwell looks like that he will before they get onto the brakes, and Van Olst indeed. So he's going to go from 1st to 5th purely for a minor misdemeanour across the runoff at the final corner. Breitenbach and Osberg are going to fight it out side by side. Breitenbach on the outside. Well, that's the outside line for Danny Weir. He's creating a new circuit out there, and he's somehow, I know it's how iRacing works, but surely you wouldn't give a slowdown for that. But he's going to get an even bigger punishment because he's gone 15 yards wide lost 3 seconds, and then the game went. Actually, that was a little bit naughty for me, that. And so he's going to have to slow down more.
They say you cut the course. It's like, nah, that is mean. That is downright mean. iRacing, hello, that's mean racing. Jan Osberg and John Breitenbach making friends through there. Jack Johns wants a piece of this. He says, go on then, I'll have a bit down the inside. Big send. Wow, I thought he wasn't going to make the corner then, but fair play. Got it turned in on the apex. Breitenbach now side by side with him. Dan McCauley's going to see this in front of him, and he's going to be rubbing his hands together thinking, right, 3 opportunities for me to have a go. However, he's got 3 of the most ferocious drivers that we've got when it comes to defending. Jack and John will have no love lost after their incident back at Barber. And now Dan is just hoping, please guys, let this be a clean fight. We're already a quarter of the way through the race. Where did that go?
The ether, the endless passage of time coming to get us all, Chaz. That's the issue. In full view at the start of this one. McCauley needs to get through this group of cars. Well, does he, actually, thinking about it? Of course, this is effectively a full reverse grid, with the exception of whoever finishes last in this race. The entire grid will be reversed. So is it going to be more beneficial to start or finish 9th and start up in what would be 7th position, or does he want the points and maybe work it through in the second race? Well, we'll find out what he does. They're 3 wide into turn 3. Delmont on the inside, trying to get back to positions that he lost from the slowdown, and he's going to pick up 2 of them, because Fretwell and Van Olst are going to be left in the dust, are they? Well, Van Olst is going to be side by side with him towards turn 4, but it will be the inside line for Delmont.
Clark and Roberts having a bit of friendly contact there. James Underhill involved as well. We will go back to this, sorry. Sam Van Olst on the outside line there with Delmont. Looks like Hoyland and Holman have started to break away from the rest of the pack. There's a bit of argy-bargy going on behind as well. I think Jack Johns just headbutted John Breitenbach into there a little bit. But this could very quickly become a 7-car battle, as they are side by side for the lead, you know. I thought Holman was going to work with Hoyland to try and break away, but he's actually having a go at him here. They're having a bit of a ding-dong, to say the least. It's great to watch, but there's so many battles going on, and we did wonder whether these cars would be actually that scrappy around this circuit in the sim. They're fantastic here in real life, but I didn't know if we'd get many battles from a sim perspective. Again, look, Hoyland just under pressure from Holman as he puts his nose down the inside. He says, go on then, you can have that, mate. This is great scrapping, but again, Hoyland gets the cut back on him. That is fantastic racing. Oh, the 2 of them will be absolutely loving that. That's brilliant to see. Side by side here between Delmont and Van Olst, and then Fretwell. Then you've got Ostberg. Then you've got Breitenbach and Johns and McCauley in this. This could all erupt very suddenly here. They've got a very colourful and beautiful pack of cars. But I tell you, this could get nasty.
Delmont just about going to hold off Van Olst on the inside. Van Olst is going to go wide. That could be an instant point, but it depends where the cutoff is through there. You've got Fretwell, Osberg, Breitenbach, Johns, McCauley all here, just trying to fight over the final podium-paying position. Up the hill they go. Jan Osberg's just looking for a bit of a gap. This could be very treacherous. Is it going to be 3 wide into the braking zone? It's 2 by 2 at the very least. They fan out. There's at least 3 lines. Oh, it's a late move from Osberg. He's just about going to make it through, I think. Wide from Breitenbach, who's just a bit of collateral damage, but somehow they've kind of stayed exactly where they are. Delmont and Van Olst are in their own little battle down with that 3/10 gap, but they will be 3 wide further back behind.
Oh, Dan's going to be just clenching at this point. Looking at this, cars absolutely everywhere. It's like a small city of Clios. Side by side between Osberg. Oh, Fretwell's got Johns on his inside again. Fretwell's been absolutely ganged up on here. He won't be enjoying this. He's got Johns on his inside. Oh, Jack's car is wiggling around like mad. Whoa, what on earth is happening there? Wow, the feedback must have really been lobbing him about, because that car was bouncing left and right. Fretwell still side by side with him. Osberg gets ahead of Breitenbach. Fretwell trying what he can, and Jack Johns has turned left. In there he goes. Dan McCauley says thank you very much. Oh, Jack just forgot there was a car next to him.
Yeah, a little bit of a moment there that he won't want to remember necessarily, but these guys aren't really thinking about that. They don't even know it's happened, to be fair. Van Olst around the outside of Delmont. Can he hold it through? Just about, but Van Olst will have the inside. Sorry, not Van Olst, Delmont will have the inside line to the final corner. Reclaim the time, reclaim the places that he's lost, but there's nothing to separate them. That's what's great about racing in these cars around a track like this, is you really can just keep it going. Corner after corner after corner. The momentum, though, now with Jan Osberg, is he going to sit back, maybe line up and move on the exit of turn 1? He's going to have a better run than both of them, but he's gone quite deep into the corner. Keep an eye for Breitenbach then, as wide goes Van Olst.
Yeah, I think Van Olst was put out there, in fairness. Delmont ran a little bit wide on the apex, maybe a bit of contact, because sometimes if you turn into the rear corner, if you're on the outside and you turn into the rear corner of the car and you're inside, you can tip them into a straight line, as Osberg is really trying to manufacture a gap that's not there. Oh, he needs to be so careful. I don't know where Jan thought he was going there, to be honest. And he's going to lose a place as a result to Breitenbach. Van Olst is very lucky to still be going in this race there, because he could have very quickly been turned into a barrier. And still he's side by side with Delmont. I think the overlap's just going to disappear now. And it's been there for nearly a lap.
Yeah, is he going to cover it off? No, he doesn't have to. Delmont just sits back in the racing line, breaking back deep, not quite deep enough to cause any contact. And then Fretwell and McCauley are in behind. But actually, has he made the move? I think he will on the inside of 5. He's going to have the outside for 6, but has he covered off the overlap? We're going to wait and see in a second. Bit of a send on the inside. Yeah, Osberg's there. They're nearly 2. They're nowhere near 2x2. McCauley's nowhere to be seen at the back of this little group of 4. It's not going to be 3 wide, is it? Of course not. They wouldn't be that silly. Outside line for Breitenbach. Excuse me, through turn 7, but it's going to be the inside for 8. It's not really helpful as an inside line, though, if you walk it into the gravel. Here comes Fretwell. He's trying to pick a way through the middle. That's very brave. McCauley would be much better off just sitting back and waiting for this.
Yeah, I think Dan is doing just that. He's on the brakes really early. Look at them, 3 wide through there. It's not going to work, gentlemen. Jan Osberg's got to come back on. Fretwell tries to give him the room. They're 2x2. Fretwell's the one that gains the positions. Goodness me, in front of them. Van Olst has gone way wide. He's weaving around a little bit, maybe in protest at Delmont. Not quite sure what happened there, but we'll maybe have a little look back at this. This was as they went into the final couple of corners. Van Olst. Whoa. Look at that in the background. It's insane. Whoa, Van Olst actually loses the back end. I thought that there was maybe contact and Delmont had put him out there. Sorry, Adam. That's completely on me. But look at these two. Can you believe such a big gap? 6 seconds back to Delmont from Holman.
I can believe it with the battling we've just seen, to be fair.
True.
But it has been a really good, quiet little 10 minutes for Holman and Hoyland, just getting away from everybody else, allowing themselves to settle into what should surely be P1 and P2, and whatever order they end up settling it out in. Dan McCauley threw him Breitenbach up to P7. I mean, Fretwell did so well there, didn't he? Getting a couple of spots, kind of, in the midst of the battle, and running away as well, trying to chase after Van Olst. It's not a bad spot for him to be in, and when he's still in contention, P5's a good spot to be.
Yeah, absolutely. They would all be gaining points on Dan McCauley as well, because let's not forget, he is scoring less than these guys as it currently stands. Jack John's car has got a big old dent in the front of it. Not quite sure who he's hit with the front of the car, but the contact that we saw earlier was definitely with... Actually, hang on, who was that contact with earlier? Because... yeah, it was Alex Fretwell, wasn't it? So Jack Johns and Ben Gregory have been swapping places a few times here. I think it was this. This was the moment with, yeah. So you got Fretwell side by side with Jack. Dan's in the mix there as well. Fretwell's still on the inside. Oh, Jack hits the back of Jean, and that propels the car sort of sideways into him. It's a weird one. Fretwell has got a slowdown penalty. There's Ben Gregory and Jack Johns side by side, getting very friendly down the start. Finish straight. Oh, Jack tries to slot in behind him and nearly takes him across the circuit. Jan Osberg runs wide out of turn 1. That might be a slowdown penalty for him. Look who's gradually rising through the order here, Dara. Mr. McCauley is now going to be up into 6th place. And that's going to be... well, it's not going to be all the championship points for him, but it's going to be 10. Although, now they're 3 wide, and now he's gone up to 5th place because of Fretwell's slowdown penalty. So, this is coming up McCauley right now. Fretwell's his nearest rival in the championship too, let's not forget.
So he'd be gaining points away from him, which is going to be crucial. He's got a bit of work to do to try and shake them off, though. Still 6 minutes left in this race. I think we'll have 4 to go when we cross the line. And McCauley's got a lot of defending to do, especially if they're 2x2 and behind, kind of ganging up on him at the minute. I think he wouldn't mind if they start battling between each other and leave him be, but you can't imagine that's going to be the case when... look at where Jan Osberg is, going in towards turn 6. Not quite going to have an overlap, but he's pushing him through the corner, isn't he? Literally, I mean, look at the gap. There is no gap.
Yeah, there's no daylight between the vinyl on Dan's rear bumper and the vinyl on Jan's front bumper. Fretwell is just feathering the brakes through there. You can see them just tapping the brakes here and there, making sure they don't make contact with each other, making sure they don't unsettle the rear. There's some great sportsmanship going on in this racing at the moment. It may be very under the radar, but there is some wonderful scrapping going on. This is great fun to watch. We hope you're enjoying watching the CDM Clio Cup here from the Red Bull Ring. This is round number 7 of the championship, first race of the night. And what you're looking at, the car in front of us, is Alex Fretwell, second in the championship coming here this evening. He's got Sam Van Alst and Matt Hoyland behind him in the championship, but the blue car that you can just see the roof of is Dan McCauley. He is the championship leader, and if it finished like this, Dan's lead would go up to 26 championship points, and you get 25 points for winning a race, as Jean Breitenbach has gone straight on, and he loses a couple of spots.
And he does, which is not ideal. And he has slipped away from the battle, which was for P3, now outside of the top 10. But the silver lining will be he's currently on for a top 5 start in race number 2. Back to the front, though, Hoyland and Holman. There's not been too much battling between the 44 and the 47. Hoyland's been controlling it, and he's the one who still has the championship aspirations. So I think he's going to be the one that's going to have more in mind. Holman just wants to get the race win on the board.
Yeah, Matt's had 3 race wins this season. Race 1 at Donington, race 1 and 3 at Zolder last time out, so he is the latest winner of a race. He got 3rd in the very first race of the season in Misano race 1, but he had a long old wait until his next podium, and his other podium finishes have all been race wins. He's either had a first or a third in terms of his podium results. He hasn't finished second yet. Is Holman going to begin that theme for him? We'll have to see. Holman's had a pretty good run in the races that he's been in. He was very, very fast back at Zolder, got a podium in race number 1 of the night. In fact, this would be a repeat of the top 2 positions if these two finished as they were. We'd just need Sam Van Alst to get ahead of Adam Delmont to repeat the overall podium. But Hoyland is really throwing that car into there, isn't he? Looks like he's got supreme confidence in the car through those final corners.
Yeah, and I mean, Holman doesn't as much, does he? With what we've just seen. Hoyland's just got the control on the car. Looks like he's a little bit more settled. There's 3, or I think it's going to be 2 to go now. We're just about going to hit the line when the timer hits 0. Because we're lapping at about 109 seconds, which means we have 380 for 2, which is 3:38, and then cross the line with about 3:32 to go. So yeah, I think we'll just about get 2 laps in. But now it means that there's only 2 more laps to finalise these battles.
Francois Brandet pointing out that James Holman had a massive moment at the final corner and I ignored it. To be honest, with how flamboyant James can be with his racing, and compared to the sort of racing that he used to do, that's nothing for James. It's all on a relative scale. That's a very chilled moment for James. He was all under control. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's just chasing that orange little Clio in front of him, and he's doing his best. He's rapid, is James Holman. Lovely bloke as well. But I tell you, he's going to be just thinking now about his plan to get past Matt Hoyland, if he can, before the end. Because even with the slipstream helping Holman here, Hoyland's just been really, really solid, hasn't he, in his pace? He's just been unshakable for now.
He has. I mean, it's been really impressive to see at this point. I mean, we haven't seen much of it, mainly because they've not been battling. But the fact that they've been able to pull this gap quite considerably and keep the pace high is testament to the amount of pace that they do have underneath it. He's going to be close, actually, as they come around the final couple of corners. Can we just go to Hoyland really quickly? And Holman, as they come around the final corner. 3, yeah, this will be the final lap. White flag will fly. It's not a lot in it. But where's Barney? Where is he? Where is he? There he is, flying the white flag. So there's 1 more lap for Holman to make this move, and he's already going to go for it into 1.
Yeah, Holman looks down the inside in the RD Sim Swamp machine, says thank you very much. Dan McCauley with a slowdown in the background. He pushes his luck too much out of the final corner. He's got half a second back to Jan Osberg. The worst thing that could happen now for him is having to serve that and lose all of these positions, but I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to have to do. And he's going to have all of these guys just breeze past him. You've got Jack Johns, John Breitenbach and Ben Gregory in the background. We'll keep our eye on our championship leader and see, is he able to serve that slowdown in a way that keeps the positions? No, he's got to pull over to the side, and that is going to cost him points. He's going to be devastated with that. He can slot back in front of Gregory. In fact, he's actually gone back down the inside of Fretwell, sends it on him. The two of them are hooked together on the exit. Dan turning hard right to try and get away from that. Let's have a look at the front, because Holman's on the outside line at the bottom of the hill, and he's going to try and carry that round the outside of Hoyland. Looks like Osberg is away from this lot. Dan won't want to gain the position after the contact like that from Fretwell. Ben Gregory's very much in the mix as well. Goodness me, they're all locking up. They're all going deep. Fretwell has to get out of it. Dan tucks it back to the right-hand side, back to the front again, and it looks like Holman might have stolen this, Dara.
Looks like he has. He waited. He bided his time, twiddled his thumbs, waited for the opportunity to present itself, and then went for it. Bit of a run, though, from Matt Hoyland. He may have taken a little bit of a liberty with the track limits, but if he's got the incident points to use, why not? And if he's not going to get a slowdown, you may have a go in towards turn 9. Outside line. Holman knew that he had to defend the inside, but can the up and under work? Or is he going to be able to get it inside for the final corner? I'm not sure he's going to be enough of an overlap.
Hoyland tries it down the inside. James Holman loses the back end, though. Is he going to lose the run to the line? No, he takes the race win. Holman wins from Hoyland. Very well done, boys. Great racing. Adam Delmont will be next up ahead of Sam Van Olst. Then it's Jan Osberg, and Dan McCauley will finish in 6th place in the end. That will net him 10 championship points. Fretwell in 7th will get 9 championship points. Van Olst in 4th will get 14. Hoyland will get 20 for 2nd place. Jack Johns just beat John Breitenbach across the line in the background. And the last few cars will now complete the race. You can see just how much the curbs drag these cars around. John Roberts will finish in 15th position, and James Pallett will complete the field in 16th. Wow. What a race, Dara. The championship hasn't changed much. Dan McCauley has 24 points over over Alex Fretwell, who has 5 more points over Sam Van Olst. And then Hoyland is another 8 points back. We'll obviously come back to that in a moment because we have the reverse grid. It's literally right now, race number 2. John Roberts from Danny Weir with James Underhill and Stuart Clark. Then it's Ashley Beard and John Breitenbach. Jack Johns is 7th with Ben Gregory in 8th. Alex Fretwell and Dan McCauley start alongside each other again with Jan Osberg and Sam Van Olst. Then it's Adam Delmont and Matt Hoyland. Race 1 winner James Holman, and James Pallett completes the 16 cars. So the bright green machine of John Roberts on pole position for this second race of the evening, Dara. What do you reckon for some of these guys at the front? Are they able to hold on?
Right. Well, there's a chance, but I don't think necessarily that they will. I think it's too open here, isn't it? We saw that kind of level of racing, didn't we, just a minute ago, with how tight it was, how competitive it was. I think this could be a bit of a melee in the start of the race.
Let's see how they get on then. We've got 2 of the Spontex CDM Esports cars in the top 5, and the lights are out very quickly. Race number 2 of the night gets underway. Looks like Jack Johns has had a bit of a poor start compared to Fretwell and Gregory behind him. John Roberts will lead them in towards turn 1. A number of drivers in the background willing to filter to the outside line. You can just see how tentative everybody wants to be through these first couple of corners. Everyone except Jack Johns, but what do you expect? Jack is certainly a driver that pushes forward. He's not one to back down. He likes the heroics. John Breitenbach next to Ashley Beard. Goodness me. I don't think Ashley knew he was there then, but luckily they managed to sort it out. Jack goes all the way to the inside before they get to the braking zone. He looks to the inside of Underhill. Stuart Clark in there as well. He's going to manage to get another position at the inside there. Ben Gregory involved in that. Alex Fretwell has gotten past Dan McCauley, and he wants a piece of this now to get past Ash Beard. But I tell you, at the front, John Roberts, look at that. He's streaked away already.
Yeah, he's done a great job to get off the line. I mean, that's an insane gap, isn't
it?
To have 1.7 seconds after.
Oh, no.
4 corners, cars off, Breitenbach's involved. That's James Underhill as well. They're both at the back. Jean waiting. It's, fair play to him for waiting for the other guy to get out of the issue. Look at how tight they are, though, in towards turn 5, turn 6. Ben Gregory with a good start up to P5. McCauley, P8, just behind Fretwell. Fretwell knows he has to finish ahead of Dan McCauley here. There's no 2 ways about it. This is crucial because they will start where they finish in this race, and therefore if Fretwell loses out to McCauley here, he's then going to be on the back foot again in race 3 when he's already lost that points in race number 1 tonight. Here's the view from Fretwell. McCauley all over his rear end, but he's not too welcome to go towards the final couple of corners. But goodness me, can he hook it? It'd be brave to be able to do that.
Dan tries it around the outside. Alex just giving the room. The two of them are very, very close to each other, but it looks like Hoyland is going to be the one to benefit there. End of the first lap. It is John Roberts leading the way. Stuart Clark in 2nd place in the Ragnotti racing machine. Then it's Danny Weir. Jack Johns up into 4th place. Ben Gregory up into 5th. These two are definitely drivers to watch. In the background here, look at that. Jan Osberg down the inside of Dan McCauley. Says thank you very much, Dan. Doesn't get it done there. Adam Delmont side by side with Sam Van Olst, and then James Holman. I can't believe that Delmont, Holman, and Delmont, Holman, and Van Olst, that's a mouthful, have been so quiet in the opening lap there, but they've been tentative, they've been behaving themselves, but now I think it's all about to begin.
Yeah, look at this. 2-3 wide nearly in towards the hairpin at turn 3. Roberts still with a very commanding lead at the front of the field as they all just try and scrabble in behind. They've got to get through the likes of Beard, Johns, Weir, Clark, who were towards the back of the order in the opening race. It's such a difficult spot to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
As they dive towards turn 4. But if they can defend for the next couple of laps, then the battling in behind might string them out a little bit further and they could be into a much better position to get some points.
Well, I was going to say Ben Gregory seemed to be going with Jack Johns in the early stages of this race, and it was definitely helping him, but right now, what's not helping him is Ashley Beard. Ashley's putting up a real hard defence here, and it looks like Hoyland might be the one to benefit. A bit of contact in the background there between, I think it was Holman and Van Olst having a bit of a ding-dong. Looks like Hoyland, he's getting the car in the right place at the right time, but then there's just always a car in front of him and he's got nowhere to go. He's actually come under attack now from Fretwell because he's lost that much momentum, having to check up for the cars in front, and he's going to get freight trained here. Bit of a hip and shoulder into the penultimate corner, he says. Thank you very much, says Fretwell. I've got a job to do. I need to get further forward than I currently am. But John Roberts leads this race, and he'll be very happy about it as well, won't he?
You'd think so, right? I mean, I don't think he necessarily would have expected to have such a good lead after just a couple of corners. But he's trying to hold on to it as much as he can. Stuart Clark's doing a great job to just reel him in at the moment and keep him on a tight leash because that gap is coming down and down. He's getting away from Danny Weir a bit, is Stuart Clark. If Clark can get ahead of John Roberts quickly and Danny Weir and Jack Johns continue to hold the rest of the pack up, this could be very good news for Stuart.
Yeah, definitely could. Just had in chat Simon Price saying, "Run, John, run." There's been some drama there. Danny Weir has damage, or he did have. His bumpers magically appeared back on. Jack Johns got past Danny here, so I hate to say that there might have been some contact here. Let's have a little look, shall we? Jack looks down the inside. Oh, Danny's turned across, and that's where the bumper went, and then, yeah, it reappeared on his car. Luckily, that shouldn't be lasting damage on Danny Weir's machine. But these guys are having a great old scrap, aren't they? Look at this. Danny's trying to do Matt Hoyland a bit of a favour here. He's trying to hold up Fretwell and Macaulay, but Fretwell, what a move that is. Lovely cutback by Alex back down the inside. Dan Macaulay's going to fill his mirrors and say, look, I want to go with you if all of this happens. Danny Weir is just trying to give him a bit of room this way and that way. I'll say that. He's going to try and run him off the road by the look of it. Goes over to the left. Jan Osberg is going to have a front row seat to this. Then it's Holman and then Delmont and Van Olst. I think Holman and Delmont are doing a really good thing here because, sure, they're not in this scrap, so to speak. I think there was contact between Macaulay and Fretwell there, which is unbelievable considering they then swapped corners of that fight. But I was going to say Holman and Delmont aren't really getting in this fight too much because they've not got anything to lose in the championship, but all of a sudden they're here, and Dan Macaulay is in 9th place. Oh my goodness me, this could all go so wrong so quickly, Dara.
Good, and for Dan Macaulay, who's leading the championship, he can't really afford that. 3 into 1's never going to go. Somehow it has. And then behind, Delmont's just decided, yeah, I'm going to run off the road. Van Olst is looking in all of this as well. The 3rd through 13th by 3.5 seconds right now, as we're on lap 4 of the race. That's slightly crazy. 3 wide again up towards the top of the hill. 1 in front, 1 behind.
Oh,
that's the problem. This in towards the corner. Or Ben Gregory's got an issue, and he's going to be put into that battle as well.
Yeah, Gregory and Hoyland, just like they did back at Jerez, there, having a little bit of side-to-side contact. Have a look at this. Ooh, there's a tiny touch on the brakes. The camera doesn't really help us very much, but Ben, obviously, with the back end of the car having the weight taken off it, and all of the weight being put on the front end, he was sort of turned sideways there by Hoyland. Jack Johns hasn't made any much further progress to chase down Stuart Clark here. He's very much under threat by Ashley Beard. Ash throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him as Ben Gregory has again lost places. Not quite sure what's happened now. I wonder whether the other HW racing machine has hit him this time. Van Olst, oh, he's nearly hooked along the front of that 113 machine. Goodness me, this is... whoa! Oh no, we'll come back to that. But we'll come back and have a look at that. This is what happened to Ben Gregory and Danny Weir. Danny's put his nose down the inside. I think he's just tipped him. And there's been further dramas here. So we're going to have a look at this. It was Danny Weir again that was involved in this, and I think he and Jan Osberg have come to blows. Let's have a look. Side by side then, as they go on the straight. Oh, Danny's going to cross the front of Jan. Oh, and he's clipped him, and the two of them, oh my goodness me. Oh, wow, that's Van Olst involved. Sam Van Olst involved in a massive hit. Adam Delmont ends up in the barrier as well. Oh my word, that was a massive, massive accident, Dara. That's one of the sort of hits that you're glad it's just a sim.
Oh, yeah, you can see him lose it, and then it's everyone's a passenger. I mean, yeah. Van Olst not necessarily expecting to bounce right into his line. And he's going to be gutted, I'm sure, but yeah, that'd be a big one, probably a hospital trip if that was in the real world, but that's kind of wiped out half that battle now, isn't it?
That's a massive shame, and that could really put a dent in Van Olst's championship as well, because don't forget, he's going to start the final race of the night where he finishes this one. Ashley Beard's going to start it from the gravel by the look of it. He's gone that far off the road. He's going to jump back on. Hoyland's going well, despite that incident with Gregory earlier. He's going very well, up into 4th position right now, and he's gained 10 places. He's just got a knack for getting through the field. Holman has avoided all of the dramas, and he's managed to make it up into 6th place, but John Roberts still leads this race. It's a great drive by John, this is classic Roberts, I'm going to say. Love to see it. Great to see him putting in a solid drive. He may not have the qualifying pace of some of these guys, but he's held his own at the front of the order.
He has. He's done a really good job. I mean, we're nearly halfway through this race, and he's still at the front. Really, really good work from him, completing now his 5th lap of the race. We should have another, 7 to go here? Maybe 6? Close. We'll work it out. Side by side, nearly in behind. Bit of a jostling for position. Matt Hoyland trying to come around the outside of Jack Johns. Hoyland is only just over a second away from the race lead. He's the one, I think, that everyone else is going to have to be wary of. Look at him pushing Jack towards turn 3 as he defends for his life at the moment.
Yeah, he's moving around a bit. Matt doesn't want to force the issue here, though. You don't want to try and put your nose somewhere it's not wanted. Jack made his move and decided on the right-hand side. Hoyland now onto the brakes, is on the outside line. Later on the brakes as well. Stuart Clark makes a move for the lead. Hoyland's overdone it, and he's going to lose ground there. Surely a slowdown penalty. Fretwell is going to go past him on the right-hand side with a good run. Hoyland with this will go ahead of Sam Van Olst in the Drivers' Championship as well. Although Sam is actually running again, I think. Yes, he is. Sam is running again, so he's still going to score 3 championship points if he finishes where he is. He will still lose that position in the championship to Hoyland, but at the end of the day, he will still score some points for at least seeing the race through. Jack Johns, well, no hesitation, straight down the inside of John Roberts and straight to the side of him as he goes for the position. There's just no patience from Jack at all, is there? He's just... They've had a battle in front of him. He's seen a gap because one of them's been slowed down slightly, and he's just sent it on him. It's not the most desirable. John flashing the lights a bit, which you can not blame him for, really. We don't want to see too much of that. They have been told not to. Matt Hoyland now is going to gain on John as well. There's nearly contact there. Goodness me, he brushes the front corner of that Clio into the penultimate corner, and that was a gutsy move by Hoyland, but he's going to feel a bit hard done by Johns as well, and he's going to want to take the position again. Look at that. He's absolutely on the move. John needs to stop the flashing now, to be honest, but yeah, he's made his point that he's not happy with Jack Johns. The guy that leads the race, though, is Stuart Clark. He's going to be buzzing.
He's going to be loving life right now, but not as much if Matt Hoyland gets through. That's a bit of a sweep across from Johns. Lucky that Hoyland didn't send it any further, because that could have been big contact through there. Again, defensive of the inside line. They are bottling up behind at the moment, aren't they? So I'll look again of what happened into turn number 6. Outside line for Jack. Turns to the inside line. It's late on the brakes. It's a very fast corner. And well, he'll say he made the corner, and John will say it was too late. I don't know what they say.
Yeah, I mean, Jack will say he wasn't afforded room, because from that onboard, that's what it felt like. Felt like John turned in regardless, as if to say, no, you're not allowed to come through here. But yeah, it certainly seemed like a bit of a late send from Jack from that angle. But obviously, stewards will look at these things. Dan McCauley late on the brakes round the outside of Alex Fretwell. Alex tried to go for the inside line and follow John Roberts through there. And he sort of put himself in a bit of a box, if anything. Now, Hoyland has gained 11 places, but who else has in this race is James Holman. He was spending all of the first race of the night with him, and now they're still glued to each other as they both attack the back of Jack John's machine in second place. All of this helping Stuart Clark to try and run away at the front of the order. These guys are showing us how side-by-side racing's done. Holman and Hoyland doing a great job.
Yeah, as they did in the opening race of the evening, obviously, battling for P1 and 2. In the end, it was Holman that won out then. Hoyland's going to be hoping to win out this time, but they've got to get through the immovable object of Jack Johns, who very much is planting the car in all of the places to try and keep the positions under control. They've got a 1.1 second gap up to Stuart Clark, and with 7 minutes to go, you've got, 4 laps remaining for him to try and hold on, and he was quicker than Johns last time by. So, the longer Johns can hold back, the better it looks for Stuart Clark, and I think Stuart might have to add Jack to the Christmas card list if he keeps them back for the next few laps.
Looks like Hoyland's gone wide through the first corner there. I'm not sure if he fell or was pushed, but Holman is now again side by side with him. Just trying to figure out the points on the fly here, but they're changing positions that much that it's really difficult to do. We know that Dan McCauley is gaining points on Fretwell by being in front of him. He's his main rival in the championship right now. Dan currently running in 5th position, maybe 5th forward / 6th, would get him 12 points. Fretwell down in 7th would get just 9 points. So Dan would then be 27 points clear of him, which is more than an entire race win. And that is a really solid advantage to have as John Roberts puts his nose back down the inside. They've not been fully single file at all yet, this lot, have they?
No, because they just can't leave each other be, to be honest. They're having too much fun at the moment, going side by side through absolutely every single corner. Holman's loving the idea of taking P3 off of his rival Matt Hoyland, and those two have been the class of the field so far tonight in both race 1 and so far in race 2, coming from 14th and 15th up to what is 3rd and 4th at the minute. Bit of a better run though for Matt Hoyland as he goes on the outside of 8. He'll have the outside for 9 as well if he can still stay there, but they're just letting Jack Johns get away a little bit. 3 to go at the end of this one.
Yeah, I think they both want to be the driver to spearhead forward and go after Jack, don't they? I mean, they're having such a great fight. They just cannot not be enjoying themselves right now. But look at the run. Holman gets out the final corner. He's all over Jack Johns, moves over to the right-hand side, gets a brilliant run on him, and now Hoyland might have the run on the left-hand side as well. This could get pretty treacherous. Jack's going to have to come across and defend the outside line here, but it looks like Holman's going to have that one done into turn 1. Jack's going to go deep. Hoyland is going to go through as well. Well, it's another moment where Jack unfortunately just has a bit too much confidence for the corner, and a few people go through. He's had a flash of the lights, don't know why, but Holman up to 3rd, well, temporarily, because Hoyland's now 2nd. These two are absolutely electric. It's like a comedy duo, isn't it?
I can't quite believe that they're still going. It's very quick. Sit there as they run their way through turn 3. I can't believe that we've still not had too much of an issue, touch wood, in this opening part of the race. In this, lead group of the race. Opening part, what am I on about? With only a couple of minutes left to go. Fretwell, he's just kind of lurking there. He's not too close to the group in front, but now that they've been freed from Johns, Hoyland's going to go straight after Clark, and you can see how quickly that gap is coming down. You fear for Stuart Clark at the minute, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. He's had an interesting season so far, has Stuart, to be fair to him. Currently finds himself 11th in the standings. His best result was 5th place in the second race at Jerez. In the last, 7 races, he's been 7th 5 times. So he's just happy not to be in 7th for once, but he's leading this race here at Red Bull Ring, and he has got just 2 laps to go ahead of Matt Hoyland, who was maybe the fastest driver on the circuit in that first race of the night. Then you've got James Holman, and then you've got Dan McCauley in 4th place, who started 10th on the grid and has a point to prove with the championship right now. Hoyland gets the run. He's side by side for the lead.
Yep, here we go then. 2 by 2 nearly, as almost diamond formation as they run up towards turn number 1. It's going to be the inside line for Matt Hoyland. James Holman on the outside line, and Dan McCauley, championship leader, is just trying to pick a way through. He won't set it up the inside, looking for the better exit, but Jack Johnson's going to get a good exit. Fretwell's going to get a good exit. Roberts, who is 7th and yet still in the battle, also going to get a good exit as they run up the hill. The top 5 by about half a second if that, not even that, as the timings update as they run up the hill. Hoyland has the advantage. 2 by 2 in behind. Can Macaulay make the move for P2 and get through on Stuart Clark? It looks like he can. And at the moment, Holman's just being shuffled back. He's stuck behind Clark. But he's not stuck behind Jack Johns, who went a little bit too wide and into the line.
Oh, Jack just ran that little bit wide. I think maybe he got hooked there as he went down the inside of Clark. Clark must have thought they were clear. Oh, he just bounces. I think Clark gets tipped right by Holman's car, and Jack bounces over the curb a little bit. They both just sort of magnetise towards each other. That is a real shame, because Jack, in fairness to him, while I did complain a bit about him earlier on, he was putting up a hell of a defence, regardless of how he went about it. You know, it was an absolute stalwart defence. But Matt Hoyland leads this race. He's in the last 4 races, he's had 2 wins and a 2nd place. Sure, the other one was a 9th, but goodness me, he is really, really working hard here. Dan Macaulay was the only other driver at Zolder to win a race, and it's when he needed to do it as well. He's got Fretwell in 4th place, who is just watching Dan drive towards the front of the order right now. In 4th place, though, Fretwell will still score 14 points. Hoyland is on for 25, which would put him only 2 points behind Alex in the Drivers' Championship. Sounds like drama. That's John Roberts running wide. Stuart Clark and Ben Gregory are getting friendly in the background. Final lap now, Dara. This is absolutely nuts, this race.
Yeah, one more tour then of the Red Bull Ring for the 2nd time this evening. Ben Gregory just going to pick a line on the inside. It's not a safe place to be when you've got John Roberts and Stuart Clark battling with you. John Roberts has got a slowdown penalty to 7. He has done. And it looks like he's done it without too much of a fuss, to be honest. So not too bad news for him, unlike it was earlier in the evening for Delmont when he lost 4 spots. Hoyland, can he defend this time from Macaulay? Holman overtook him on the last lap of the opening race of the evening, and Holman's looking to make another position on the last lap, this time in the 2nd race. A lot of room left by Dan Macaulay. He's gone wide off the road, and they're going to be side-by-side towards turn 4.
There's battles absolutely everywhere in this pack. I could not tell you how any of these races have finished, to be fair. If I had to recap the night already, even though it's still live, I could only tell you who the race winners were, because the order is so jumbled up every single time we go into a different braking zone. It's absolutely phenomenal stuff here at the Red Bull Ring tonight. I was worried that it would be a little bit tame because of the circuit and the lack of slipstream in the iRacing version of this car, but I tell you what, it has been electric. It looks like Hoyland is home and dry because Macaulay and Holman are having a good scrap.
Yeah, just a couple more corners to go. In this one, can Macaulay hold on? He knows that he needs the points, and with Fretwell behind, this could be a huge help if he can gain points in race 1, in race 2, and then, of course, therefore start ahead of him in race 3. Bit of a wiggle, though. Doesn't look comfortable.
No, that was a really big wiggle over the curb there for Dan Macaulay. I don't think Holman's going to go for that. I hope Holman's not going to go for that. No, I didn't think he was going to. But round the penultimate corner, down the hill and onto the brakes and into the final corner, comes Matt Hoyland to take his 3rd race win in 5 races. Hoyland wins at the Red Bull Ring and helps himself big time in the championship. Dan Macaulay 2nd ahead of James Holman and Alex Fretwell. All of those guys having a fantastic scrap. John Roberts gets 6th place. I think that's his best result of the season. Stuart Clark gets a 5th. That's his equal best result of the season. Jack Johns eventually home in 9th after, well, a race that doesn't tell the full story, I think, from there. John Breitenbach and James Underhill, let's not forget, 10th and 11th after both being around the wrong way on the first lap. A few drivers that were really falling by the wayside early on were Sam Van Olst and Jan Ostberg with that big incident. Adam Delmont was involved as well and had to come through the pit lane. It's a big shame that those guys have had to lose out big time with those points. That could really hurt Sam Van Olst in the championship. In fact, that drops him to 4th in the championship now, behind Macaulay, Fretwell and Hoyland, and he is 46 points off of Dan Macaulay. But what can you say about Matt Hoyland though, Dara? What a fantastic drive through the order. 14th on the grid to a race win.
Yeah, incredible way to come back through the field, showing that the pace in race 1 wasn't just a fluke. He had it in race 2 to back it up, and he's going to be thrilled, I'm sure, with the points that he's going to be able to collect tonight. Keeps the pressure up on Macaulay as well, because he will start from the front of the field once again. But he didn't gain as many on Macaulay as I'm sure he would have wanted to, with, of course, the others just in behind the Scotsman come the checkered flag.
Well, I'll tell you, Matt's going to be wondering what might have been in this championship, because after the horrible results back at Jerez, and I think he missed a round as well, did he not? Yeah, he missed a round back at Okayama, round number 2 of the championship. if he hadn't have done that, you could argue that he might be up there in the championship fight right now, because he is 2 points behind Alex Fretwell, who is 30 points behind Dan McCauley. It's 25 points for a race win, and there's 3 races in a night, so 75 points is the maximum. You cannot drop the final round of the season either, so the points are literally as they are when we come to that final round of the championship. So it's all to play for, that's safe to say, and it's going to be a very exciting finale. We've still got one more race left tonight though, so hold on to your hats, everybody. This is how the first race of the night finished. It was James Holman winning by just 0.2 of a second over Matt Hoyland and Adam Delmont, with Sam Van Olst in 4th place and Jan Osberg in 5th. Then it was Dan McCauley 6th ahead of Alex Fretwell, Ben Gregory, Jack Johns and John Breitenbach, with Ashley Beard and Stuart Clark next up ahead of James Underhill, Danny Weir and John Roberts. James Pallett just finishing outside of the points. Dara, what about the second race?
Hoyland was the winner in the end, getting the 5-point advantage over Dan McCauley, meaning that he just closes in that little bit further once again. And James Holman had to settle for 3rd, but less than a second off the race winner, with Alex Fretwell and Stuart Clark rounding out the top 5. John Roberts had a valiant lead for about half the race, but could only manage 6th in the end, with Ashley Beard, Ben Gregory, Jack Johns and John Breitenbach rounding out our top 10. James Underhill was a bit of a victim in the opening lap, finishing 11th. Palo started at the back and finished in 12th, with Van Olst in 13th. And then the guys that really came, really fell victim to the big incident that we saw. Jan Osberg nearly a lap down, and Delmont a full lap down in 14th and in 15th.
Very, very good stuff. Very interesting race, though, to say the least. And we will just take a quick break here, as I'm sure the drivers will as well, here on Chaz Draycott Media. Dara and I will be right back.
City, but I am tired of the same people, of the same things. I want to escape now to another place now, but with you, 'cause I don't want to be alone. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy.
Hello again, everybody. Chaz, Draycott and Dara Thacker in the commentary box for the CDM Clio Cup here from the Red Bull Ring. Dara, we've just needed a bit of a lie down after those first 2 races of the night, mate. They were very, very busy, and there's still one more left to go.
I mean, I literally did go for a lie down for about 2 minutes. So, have you got a camera in here or something? That's slightly concerning. No. Yeah, I mean, the third race, I'm sure, is going to be a little bit more. A little bit more exciting. Everyone knows they've got to just kind of lay it all out. There's no point thinking about, don't want to give myself a bad starting position for race number 2 or 3. It's all on this race. They can kind of forget about where they finish once we hit the checkered flag. And so I think the start of this race, at least, could be a little bit frantic.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect here. It could be that some of the guys have had a busy, very busy night, and they think, right, I could do with a quiet race now, or they try and dial it up one more. I mentioned earlier the championship points. It looks to me like Dan McCauley now has a 30-point lead over Alex Fretwell, and he is then just 2 points clear of Hoyland. So a good result from Hoyland could see him jump into second in the championship and be the main protagonist to take Dan McCauley down in the finale, or potentially anyway. And then obviously Sam Van Alst, he's going to feel really hard done by with that incident. He was a complete innocent bystander in that one. And after scoring just 3 points in that race, he's now 46 points off Dan with a lot of work to do. And even then, he's 14 points behind Hoyland and then 16 points behind Fretwell. So it's not looking good for Van Alst right now, which is a big shame because he has been one of the absolute staple drivers of the season. He had a double win back at Jerez, let's not forget. I mean, in 4 races, he won at Donington and then had 2 wins at Jerez. So he's had a good season, but yeah, just nights like tonight when they don't quite go your way, it just really shakes it up. I mean, I'm sort of, I know I just keep talking, but at Zolder he was 3rd in every race, Dara.
Yeah, I mean, it's the consistency, but then just not the headline results, isn't it? That would have really pushed him a little bit further forward. But yeah, I mean, it's so difficult in this championship to get those wins because particularly of the level of racing, level of the standard of racing. 2, of course, the way that the format works means if you succeed well in race 1, it's going to be very hard for you in race 2, and then you've got to fight your way all the way back through, continuing in that manner through race 3. So it's tricky. And those that have been able to claim multiple race wins of an evening have really been able to pull themselves that little bit further up the championship very quickly indeed.
Yeah, exactly. There's been some very interesting swings in momentum in different parts of the championship so far this season, and I'm really excited to see if we have any more of those just over the course of this final race of the night. And then on top of that, let's not forget, we have just one more race meeting in a week's time at Zandvoort. We will crown our first ever CDM Clio Cup champion. The conditions will change over very quickly, and we will get into the last race of the day. You can see the lighting has dropped slightly, and it's gone a little bit later on into the afternoon. Here we are then for the final grid of the night. It's Matt Hoyland and Dan McCauley on the front row with James Holman and Alex Fretwell on row 2. Then it's Stuart Clark and John Roberts with Ashley Beard and Ben Gregory on row 4. Jack Johns will start alongside John Breitenbach. James Underhill and James Pallett will make it in all James row 6. Ahead of Sam Van Alst and Jan Osberg, with Adam Delmont and Danny Weir starting 15th and 16th. There's a number of drivers that we can keep our eye on further down the order, I'm sure. But the final race of the night in the CDM Clio Cup from the gorgeous Red Bull Ring is underway, and it looks like a torrid start for James Holman. Loses quite a lot of momentum, and Stuart Clark is going to get the run on him up towards turn 1. Sam Van Alster's got a lot of work to do from further down the order. Let's keep an eye on him as well. John Roberts goes to the inside of Stuart Clark, decides to back out of that one. Ashley Beard goes through on the left-hand side, and Jack Johns gets a wonderful run on the left as they head up the hill. But that start from Holman has punched a bit of a hole in the pack there, hasn't it, Dara?
Yeah, it has, and it means that Hoyland's got away at the front a little bit with Dan McCauley. Fretwell looking to try and hold on to that P3 as they all fan out behind 3 wide in the background towards the back of the field. Delmont involved in all of that, but it should be Fretwell holding on to P3. Indeed he will, as they get towards the top of the hill on the run towards turn number 4. But Stuart Clark still kicking around there as well. Of course, he finished right towards the back in race 1, held his own in race 2, and is continuing in a good place in race 3.
Yeah, it's really good momentum for some of these drivers. Others need to just be careful not to overdo it. We've got Ben Gregory side by side with Jack Johns. As straight on goes Ashley Beard. They're 3 wide in the background there. That is James Underhill, Adam Delmont, Jan Osberg, Sam van Alst there. Ooh, nearly a bit of a kiss there on the back of the Belgians' machine. That was very friendly stuff. That's friendly. Jack Johns and Ben Gregory making door-to-door contact as they go through another left-hander. I'm surprised Jack's car's got any door handles on it at any point, really, because he's just sanded them off against everyone else's machines. You've got John Roberts holding on in front of Sean Breitenbach, both showing us how you can make a colourful livery despite most of the car being black, and also different ways of spelling John. And they remain right together in 8th and 9th. Looks like Stuart Clark's up for a scrap here as well after leading that race for so long earlier.
Yep, he's very much in the battle as they come in towards the final corner for the opening time in race 3. Stuart Clark is trying to stick it around. Jack John's wide. That could give Ben Gregory a chance towards turn 1, but that gap between Macaulay and Holman is huge. 2 seconds on the opening lap alone.
Yeah, those two absolutely flying away. But I mean, even then, considering that Dan has the slipstream on I can never remember whether it's Hoyland or Holman now. I keep getting it wrong. But even though he's got the slipstream, he's not been able to stay with Holman. He's really starting to break away here. It's very impressive stuff from the, well, I was going to say the Irishman, but he's British, living in Ireland, but he runs under the Irish flag. He told me a few weeks ago. We've got James Pallett just moving to the right-hand side of James Underhill there to gain a place. Looks like the Spontex CDM Esports cars not having the best start to their races. Oh, it gets a bit worse there for Underhill, and he's got a black flag. What on earth was that about? That's weird. He had like a tiny touch, and then it gave him a black flag, and that was that. That was nuts.
Yeah, interesting. Let's keep an eye out then for everybody else, right? Not exactly the ideal situation to find himself in, but he won't be taking any further part. Side by side continues though. Van Alst trying to get through on John Roberts this time. Inside line will be his into turn number 6. Can he make that work? He's going to have the overlap. Roberts tries to sweep down a bit, a little bit of contact. Slightly reminiscent of race 2. John goes wide. He just about gets the line, keeps the momentum, but it's going to be the same thing in 7 and 8.
Yeah, he's going to be on the outside, and then Sam's going to get the run around the outside, and it's going to be Adam Delmont who's going to get the run here as well, by the look of it. He's right behind this pair. Cars glinting their way over the crest of the hill. Lovely sight down towards the penultimate corner. Delmont backs out of that one, but Van Alst gets the move done. In fact, Delmont doesn't back out of that. Carries fantastic speed around the outside line. Can he squeeze by? No, Roberts is trying his best to give as much room as possible. Jumps the car over that curb on the inside. But even though the only car on the track with no slipstream is Matt Hoyland, he's just on the fastest lap of the race. This guy, he's a man possessed at this late stage of the season. I'm supposed to be seeing him on Saturday, and I don't think they're going to be able to fit his head in the gate at Donington.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if he can get admitted then.
To where?
I mean, he's doing it. Well, yeah, true. There's got to be a hospital nearby. Nottingham, right? There'll be a hospital in Nottingham. Matska. Oh, well, that's not the line. He just has got better and better with every session tonight.
Yeah.
Just cranking it up that little bit more and more, which is exactly what he would have wanted to see from himself. And it's not going to please Dan Macaulay too much to see him drive away at the moment. John's on the back of Fretwell. He's been an aggressive feature tonight. Is he going to go for it to the inside at turn 4? He's shaping for it. He's sending the car. Is he going to get it stopped in time? Looks like he will. Fretwell's going to try and hook it around the outside. Could kind of see that coming in there. Prepare for it, and he'll have the inside for 5 and 6. That should be enough to see him in front.
Yeah, he should hold that line, but it depends. If Jack tucks this in too far and clips the rear quarter like that, then then it's not going to be the case. It's almost predictable, Jack. Come on. Don't drive into people on the inside. He's got supreme confidence to send the car in as hard as possible everywhere, but it's getting predictable at this point. Luckily, Fretwell able to get away with that, and the two cars don't get hooked on each other. But I'm still confused as to what happened with James Underhill, because to get a black flag on the beginning of lap 2 and have that contact, I'm not sure. I don't know if he had a slowdown penalty that he couldn't serve or what, but he just came to a stop and that was it. Night done. So I'll see if he messages me. I'm very good friends with James. He's a lovely bloke. I'll see if he sends me a message and a recap of his race. Jack moves to the right-hand side. Try and fill the mirrors a little bit more of Fretwell just to put him off that extra bit. He's got Ben Gregory putting pressure on him just behind. Jack gets a really good run out of the first corner. Fretwell knows the score. He stays over to the left a little bit, leaves him racing room. Jack fills the space, and the two of them go wing mirror to wing mirror, up towards turn 3 again.
Here we go, Fretwell and John side by side. Ben Gregory this time, the one watching and waiting, and there's got Brayton back in the background as well, just in case anything goes wrong. A little bit of contact that could give Ben Gregory a chance. Look at the run from Brayton back on the exit of the corner. He's going to be right involved in this by the time they get towards turn 4. The gap to Holman grows and grows and grows. Brayton back still on the outside line, looking like he's going to have the best seat in the house for what's going to happen into turn 4. I don't think Fretwell's going to send it from there. Would be a very late move, even though he's getting in the wing mirrors. Gregory's going to get in the wing mirror a little bit as well, and Brayton back just takes it slightly easy to get the exit. What an exit that is. Can he find the gap? Oh, not quite.
I think it was James Holman in the Discord between races. He said it's insane how much of a run you can get with nowhere to use it around this track, and that seems to be the case, doesn't it? People get a really good run on one another, but then there's just no gap to drive into. There's nowhere to put the car with that additional momentum that you've got. It seems like such a frustrating track to race a car like this sometimes, but that's the beauty of it, I imagine, because it's almost like high-speed chess every single lap, isn't it? You've just got to think where to put the car and when, and how quickly you can fill a gap before anybody can defend it. Look at Delmont go.
Yeah, he's looking like he's on a bit of a charge, of course, right from the back of the field, trying to recover what he kind of lost in that big incident in race 2, of course, starting at the back. As a result, looking like he needs to maybe get a move past Van Alst, but he's not the easiest nut to crack, and Stuart Clark's been a very good defensive driver over the last, 30 minutes of racing, give or take. Inside for Delmont, can he find the line? Maybe a little bit of contact. Good work on the through turn 1 on Stuart Clark. Stuart just on the wrong line in the end, and Delmont taking full advantage.
Yeah, that was really tasty stuff by Adam Delmont. Lovely little move that. We'll have a look at it from the external camera. Van Alst nice and tidy down the inside. Good stuff by Stuart Clark, giving lots of room. The two of them just perfectly placed, and Delmont just gives him what my favourite commentator Charlie Cox would call a wet and dry rub down the inside there, and through he would go. Hoyland, though, I'm going to start running out of words for Matt, like I do with Norbert Kish in the truck racing. I'm not quite comparing the two, but I tell you, Hoyland is being absolutely exemplary in this later stage of the season. Dan Macaulay, though, is coming under all sorts of pressure from Holman, and if Holman overtakes him here, he's going to take a couple of very important championship points away.
Yeah, got to be careful. Holman inside line. Macaulay can't really afford to lose too much to Matt Hoyland, especially with the confidence Matt's going to carry through to Zandvoort next week. But Holman's got that done. Inside line working through 7 and 8. And he now has P2. Hoyland's got 1.7 seconds of an advantage, but he's got 6 laps to try and defend it now.
Certainly got a fight on his hands, that's for sure. But just behind, though, Fretwell, Brayton back, Gregory, Van Alst, Delmont, Clark, all having a good old scrap. Looks like Jack Johns got past Alex Fretwell, and then after getting past John Brayton back has now just disappeared a little bit. Some very colourful cars in this fight, isn't there? You've got John Brayton back and Ben Gregory, which have got the entire Pantone book each on their cars. Then you've got Sam Van Alst with all the spec maps in the world, and then Adam Delmont, which is just a driving billboard. So it's brilliant to see these gorgeous cars all scrapping away together. There's 5 Clios there, can you believe it? Absolutely nose to tail. That's proper Clio racing, they say. Watch this. Oh, Delmont climbing around all over the back of the Gold Sus car. That's sus in itself. This is fantastic to watch. What a great night we're having.
Yeah, Delmont just kind of pick his way through at the moment. He's got P5 just in front of him. And P4 not a long way up the road either. So they're side by side in front of him. Van Alst and Gregory. Are they going to keep it safe? Gregory a little more aggressive on the inside line. Van Alst trying the up and under. You could kind of see that coming. Delmont was coming in a little bit hotter. Brayton back on the outside line there as well. And Delmont's got to be careful from Stuart Clark behind too. It's just not been any time to breathe through the races tonight, but we always knew that was going to happen at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, very much so. We knew it was going to be a very busy night of racing, and it's going to continue on by the look of it. These guys are still getting stuck in. A little bit of contact there. We've got Van Alst and Gregory just with an overlap here. Ben Gregory now on the inside in the boosted SimSport car. I was going to say the colourful one, but both of them are very colourful cars. Sam Van Alst tries a cutback. That looks absolutely delightful for Sam Van Alst. What a beautifully choreographed move. Just needs to make the next corner. Ooh, leans on Ben a little bit. Nothing too untoward through there. They've got to be careful of these curbs because we've seen cars get snatched up by those curbs before now. Fretwell's going to be happy because he's away from all of this scrap right now, and all of these guys are just going to have to try and, well, see whether they can sort it out behind him.
Yeah, and they're going to have to sort it out at some point, right? 9 minutes to go. Delmont outside line. Can he get the up and under? This could be a really big run if he does. Look at the speed he's going to gain. He's going to just about get through on Breitenbach, you'd think, or maybe not. He's going to get there on Ben Gregory. Inside line. Could have gone for the middle, but that would have been very dangerous indeed. They're going to be 3 wide towards turn 1, and it's going to be Sam Van Olst with a lot of machinery in the wing mirrors. Up in towards the braking zone they go. Outside line for Breitenbach. Oh, Draycott's not going to go very well, and Breitenbach's not in a good spot, and he's bouncing over the curbs, and somehow they've come out of that in the same order that they entered the straight in. I can't quite fathom that, to be honest.
That's nuts, but fair play to Delmont because he didn't send it into the corner there with utter confidence. He backed out of it. He got into the corner, still 3 wide, but he went slower than everyone else, and he made sure that he didn't run wide and cause a further problem there. That was good racing by Delmont. He may have made it 3 wide into turn 1 at Red Bull Ring, which is far from advisable, but you know what? He made the best of a difficult situation there. Biggest mover in the field so far is Sam Van Olst, and what a great drive he's putting in to make up for that race earlier on. Then again, he didn't really have anything to make up for. He was a complete innocent bystander in that incident. But he's gained 7 places in this race so far. John Breitenbach's gone in deep, way deep, past Ben Gregory. Oh, Ben will be, well, thanking his lucky stars that he didn't get collected there, but John will be gutted about that mistake there.
Yeah, he is going to be. I mean, it's just going to put him a little bit further back now, and kind of out of that, like, exciting, fun battle. Apparently it's an Sun battle in that mid-pack of the order. Hoyland, 2 seconds of an advantage. I mean, he just has been a class above the rest tonight, hasn't he? He just has controlled the races so well. The only blemish is that move that Holman, of course, put on him on the final lap in race number 1. Apart from that, he's led the majority of the minutes tonight, and he's just looking imperious. Yes, he's lost 2/10 to James Holman that time by, but with, 4 laps to go now, I mean, 2/10 per lap's not going to be enough for the Irishman.
No, it's not. He's going to have to really get a move on. Jan Osberg all the way on your left there, trying to hide behind the timing tower. He's right up behind Ben Gregory. He gives him a bit of a kiss in towards the first corner. Stuart Clark and Ben then get a little bit friendly on the exit. He needs to come back on, Ben. Give him some room. He's running all the way along the white line there on the left, but then again, he was probably scared of having a car on his right. Stuart Clark now is the one that drops to the back of this. It's like one of those little recurring orders, you know, where there's just always someone goes to the back, like rollbacks, and then someone goes to the front. They'll then go to the back of this group, and they just keep reverting their different positions here. This is fantastic fun to watch. Really good scrapping here tonight. And the stewards may be a little bit busy afterwards, but I tell you what, on the surface it seemed pretty good, hasn't it?
Oh, it has. We haven't seen too much. I mean, there's been a couple of big incidents, but I mean, they weren't necessarily driver cause. You know, the barriers bouncing a car onto the circuit isn't exactly the fault of somebody. So, yeah, it's not been a bad evening by any stretch of the imagination. Jack Johns looking to try and defend from Alex Fretwell. We'll see if they keep it nice and clean in the last 3 laps or so. Of course, you've got John's teammate Van Olst coming up behind 2. And Goldsus, we were talking about them having that lead in the team's championship. They won't win it tonight, but they're going to go into the final round with a decent advantage over the rest.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be pretty much one hand on the trophy after this evening, so long as they can score some good points in this one. But yeah, Fretwell will want to get a move on here and get ahead of Jack Johns before his teammate gets on the attack as well, because to be between the 2 Goldsus cars would be pretty terrifying, to be fair. Both of them are not backwards and coming forwards, and they will both defend until the cows come home as well. Kevin Zemstra, it's great to see you in the YouTube chat there, mate. Lovely to see Kevin, a regular in Boremula 1 and in the Formula CDM series. Kevin saying, hold on, how is Mr. Hoyland leading? Simon, echoes my sentiment. He says, keep up, Kev. Matt Hoyland has won 4 races so far this season, and he is on the brink of going second in the championship with this result as well. So, yeah, it's fantastic performances by Hoyland. It's good to see it. At least I know that he'll be in a good mood on Saturday, that's for sure. He won't be coming to me moaning about my sim racing series. But, yeah, we've had a very, very good night here at Red Bull Ring, and, I mean, it's the best circuit in Europe, so, you know, I expected them to.
Oh, yeah. It really does deliver every time, doesn't it? Never disappointed by the racing that we always see. Holman's going to be slightly disappointed if he can't try and close down Matt Hoyland, because he does have the pace, isn't he? He is starting to, you know, wind in the race leader. 1.2 is the gap. It was 1.9. He was getting a couple of tenths a lap, but you feel like it's going to be a little bit more this time by. There should be another 2 laps to go when they cross the line. Unless Hoyland has absolutely taken this race at full pelt. But there should be 2 more to go when they cross the start-finish line. And Holman's got a lot of work to do. If there is indeed 2 laps, he's going to hope there's 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of them races, I think I said it last week, one of them races where you want to hide the checkered flag. You want to have a really, really good race. In fact, no, I didn't say that last week. I said it on the Euro Cup 3 broadcast on the weekend. Never mind. Jan Rosberg, all over the back of Ben Gregory. He's actually gained some good ground as well, despite the immense battles that he's been in and the slowdowns that he's had. Jan has gained 5 positions in this race so far. Adam Delmont, biggest mover in the field, has gained 8. He's been really great to have in the field here. Here's Adam Delmont. Josh Rayfield in the chat as well. Great to see you, Josh. Another driver that was a regular in the British Boring Car Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media. Francois doubting my choice of Red Bull Ring being the best circuit in Europe. I think as a spectator, it's the best. It's the most beautiful. Definitely the most beautiful. Maybe there's better out there. I don't know. Fretwell going for it on Jack Johns. Looks to the inside. Oh, dearie me, gentlemen. Alex was sort of hesitant to make the move, and then Jack eventually went across and said, all right, then I will defend it. And now, with all this going on, Sam is going to be very much in the picture here, Dara. This is cagey.
It is. It's not really as calm as you'd want it to be towards the end, is it? Fretwell inside line, 2 Gold Dust cars trying the up and under, both of them. It'll be Johns, then Van Alst trying to team up on Alex as they run their way towards turn 6. Oh, careful, 3-5. Outside line for Jack Johns. He's going to have the full run of the circuit. There's a bit of contact. It's very early in the corner. Fretwell didn't change his line at all. Bit of an early turn-in from Jack, to be honest, because Alex made the corner easily. It'd be easy to see from one of their points of view, but either way it means that Van Alst is now the one to attack.
Yeah, just looked like once again Jack turning in as if there's not a car next to him, but obviously that's only what we've seen initially on the broadcast. Sam Van Alst gets the run, tries to go to the right-hand side of Fretwell, who then goes back to the outside line, turns in, a little bit of a touch on the way in. Sam flashing the lights, and I was going to say, he can't disappear. He's got his nose down the inside, sure, but yeah, it's that trying to trigger the spotter driving, isn't it? I mentioned this in the briefing. I can't stand it when people just try and get a nose in just to try and afford themselves the room. Hopefully that's the last of that sort of move we see here, but it looks like tempers might flare a bit. 1.5 minutes left to go. This will be the final lap of the race, I'm pretty sure. Great move that by Van Alst round the outside. Big commitment, and the Belgian puts on an absolute show there. That's a wonderful, wonderful move. I know Alex won't be too happy to have that done to him, but Sam cuts his nose off to say, have some of that. Wow, that is feisty stuff.
And on the last lap, can Fretwell retake it? Outside line. Oh, careful. Jack Johns, he's... Oh, goodness me, doesn't know where to go. You got Delmont in the background as well. Of course, he got poles. I don't count him out at all as they run up the hill. Is this the last lap? Oh, it should be.
Oh, it's close.
It's very close indeed, isn't it? Van Alst is still defending. He's going to be hoping that if he can lead the end of this lap, the checker flag does meet him, but Fretwell doesn't want to leave anything to chance. Outside line, down the hill. It's difficult to get the car stopped through here. A little bit of rubbing of doors, but it's all nicely done into the corner, and a little bit of a push wide is going to allow Jack Johns the chance towards turn 6. There won't be a move made here, you wouldn't have thought, because Johns doesn't have the overlap. He's going to do the same thing again. Braking late into the corner, it's never going to work through there. Lucky he didn't go too much deeper, otherwise there would have been a bit of a crash. But it is Van Alst who leads the way. We're going to get to the line. Oh, it's going to be so close.
It really is, but I think this will be it. There's a flash of lights from Holman. He knows that Hoyland might have done this. 15 seconds left to go. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, because the pace at the front has been faster than it was before. Is that going to be the final lap? No, I think we're going to get one more. Let's see. He's crossed the line, surely. Yeah, we've got one more lap. One more lap here at the Red Bull Ring. Van Alst has gotten away from Fretwell. Oh, Delmont all over this. I tell you what, Fretwell will be happy to see Delmont there, because Adam's now going to put Jack Johns under pressure for what is the final lap of the race. This is, well, feisty stuff here. These guys battling for championship points right at the sharp end. I mean, Jack isn't in the championship fight, but that doesn't mean that he's not allowed to go for moves and go for overtakes.
Yeah, he's more within his rights to have a bit of a go in this situation, and Johns is going to be the one to be having to be wary as they rise up the hill and in towards turn 3. Hoyland, Holman, they're gone. Macaulay's very much in third, but this is the big battle for fourth. It's a late send from Jack Johns, moving in the braking zone. It's not ideal, and there's contact, and there's Fretwell without a bumper. There's Johns without a bumper. There's Delmont, who's got caught up in it as well. I think that one could be a submission you're looking at, Chaz.
I don't know what he's doing, quite frankly. You've got... the less I say, the better in this situation, I think. But Hoyland, I tell you what, has put on a hell of a show at the front here tonight. I mean, we knew that he was going to do well in this second race of the night, Dara, but goodness me, he is flying.
He's done an absolutely stellar job, hasn't he? He's not put a foot wrong in this race. Holman's chased him and had a little bit of a slipstream ever since he overtook Dan McCauley some time ago. And he's just not looked back. And he's been able to control it, and it's going to be 2 wins in the last 2 races today.
Well, I know that he's going to be a delight on Saturday, but Matt Hoyland goes up to second in the championship with 2 races in a row here at the Red Bull Ring. Take a bow, sunshine. James Holman gets another podium, and Dan McCauley does a fantastic job to score a lot of championship points tonight. Sam van Olst with a great drive right at the death of the evening. Looks like Jack Johns might be giving... Well, he slowed down a bit there. I think Delmont... No, he didn't slow down, actually. He moved over to the right. I thought he was giving positions back. Delmont, 9 places gained for him up into 6th. He'll be over the moon with that after a lot of hard work across his evening. But I tell you, Matt Hoyland, it's... Well, it's hard to... hard to say anything bad about that performance tonight.
It was pretty good, that, wasn't it? It was all right. I'm sure we'll talk to him, and he'll, he might underplay it a bit, but it was stellar, wasn't it? I mean, absolutely perfect. He's gained anything he really can on McCauley, except for those 5 points that he lost out in race 1. But yeah, really good job tonight from him.
Yeah, very, very solid driving. James Holman as well. He had a really good night on track, didn't he? Certainly had a lot of fun battles by the look of it, especially with Hoyland in particular. But Dan McCauley, despite a miserable qualifying, he turned that around, I'd safely say. And he's looking confident now into the final round of the season. He's got almost an entire race win over anybody else when it comes to points.
He does, and that's a very, very good position to be in going into the final round, knowing exactly what you need, who you need to defend from. It's going to make the maths a little bit easier for him, and I think that's going to be a key that he's going to look forward to next week, that he can kind of control his own destiny, which is exactly what you want to have going into a championship finale.
Yeah, definitely. You want to just have that little bit on your side, and it looks like that's exactly what Dan is going to have. Matt Hoyland takes his 2nd win of the night, and that's going to be his 4th win in 6 races. He's really turned it on at the moment. James Holman finishes in 2nd place ahead of Dan McCauley 3rd. Sam van Olst was 4th ahead of his teammate Jack Johns, with Adam Delmont recovering into 6th place. Great drive by Adam from the back of the grid. Alex Fretwell crosses the line in 7th. He's had a bit of a bruising night, to say the least. Ben Gregory was 8th ahead of Jan Osberg and John Breitenbach. The two of them seem to be quite inseparable, actually. John Roberts scores more championship points ahead of Stuart Clark and Danny Weir, with James Pallett and Ashley Beard completing the field, with James Underhill out of the race. In fact, Ashley Beard and James Underhill both out of the race. Not the result that Spontex CDM Esports would have been looking for. So, time to go back to the beginning of the race. Time to whack some music on, and we'll see whether we've got any drivers to speak to, because, quite frankly, there's been some pretty good drives out there tonight. And I tell you what, Dara, because I'm going to get sick of talking to him on Saturday, why don't you take it away with Monsieur Hoyland?
Bonjour, Monsieur Hoyland. Welcome in. First of all, congratulations. How are you feeling? I mean, nearly 3 wins from 3, a 2nd and 2 wins. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, I bottled it, didn't I? That race one. I'm a bit fuming with myself, to be honest. But no, otherwise, pace was really good. Race 2 was absolute chaos. I thought I was out at least 5 or 6 times going into a gaggle of cars. And then race 3 was just polar opposite. Got away, never really had to fight anyone, just had to make sure I didn't get any slowdowns or anything. And yeah, I got a win, so I couldn't really do much more. I was conscious of my license point situation. Obviously 1 license point and I missed the last round, which I really didn't want. So when James decided to send me into turn 1, I was like, oh, I can't really afford to get into a crash here. But no, very good overall. Pace was good again. Looking forward to the last round now.
Yeah, and I mean, you're giving yourself the best chance you can going into it. Obviously, it's been a relatively long season, isn't it, coming into this? But you've given yourself all of the chances that you possibly can going into the last round. I mean, you had, 47 points to gain on Dan. I mean, that will have come down relatively significantly. Firstly, how are you looking forward to the championship battle next week?
I'm sort of just taking as it is and just getting as many points as I can. Obviously, it's still going to be, the gap's going to be smaller, but it's not going to be small. So I'm still going to need to perform in all 3 races. So, a lot of work to do still. Obviously, I'll give it my best. When Chaz does his things and puts the standings out, I can probably get a bit more of an idea of how I'm going to approach it. But for now, as it's been with the last 2 rounds, just go out, be as fast as I can, score as many points as I can, and then see what happens afterwards, really.
Yeah, I think it's the best way to look at it. I mean, it's going to be at Zandvoort, though, obviously. Is that a track that you think you're going to do well at? Is it one you're looking forward to racing on?
I'm not really sure how the Clio's going to take it, to be honest. When we went there for Formula CDM, I quite enjoyed it, even if I had a bad tendency to go for a move that I didn't make, and then I'd lose like 3 positions because it's such like a roller coaster train track where everyone's following each other. But I think the understeer could be quite chronic through some of the corners, like T1 and T3 or T4, whichever it is, the really banked one. So it's going to be a bit more difficult, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's not particularly a slipstream track anyway, so the lack of slipstream probably won't be quite as apparent as it was here today. It'll be more on how you actually handle the car, which is nice. So we'll see. I don't really know how it's going to be, to be honest with you.
Well, it's great unknown, maybe for us, but maybe not for you if you're fighting for a title. But yeah, Matt, congratulations, well done. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Shout out to Dan for giving me a nice push in race 2 when we were 2x2 down the start finish, and he managed to give me a push and actually managed to get us both through in the end, which was nice. Obviously, I do have a chance to fight down for the title, but I've got to know Dan quite a lot over the last few weeks. We're getting on really well, and it's been a pleasure racing with him. It's always pleasant, so hopefully that continues into next week and one of us can come away with a nice clean win. I don't want any drama, really.
I don't think any of us do. But yeah, Matt, well done. Congratulations again. Well said. We'll probably speak to you next week.
Thank you very much. Catch you later.
A very, very happy Matt Hoyland, as you can imagine. And the driver on the other side of the situation is Mr. Macaulay in the Series 1 racing car. Dan, another difficult start to your night tonight with qualifying, but I tell you turned it around, mate. You must feel pretty relieved.
Yeah, I don't really know whether... I think I just got lucky reading some of the races because qualifying was atrocious. I was screaming at myself. I was on for a lap that would have put me P3, off track the last corner. Lap for P5, off track the last corner. I'm actually happy that I got a lap on the board altogether. But my goal tonight was to try and beat Alex in all 3 races, which I thought was going to be incredibly tough where I put myself in qualifying. I think I was quite smart in race 1 with avoiding some of the carnage and letting the race come to me, and then sort of had a good battle with Alex at the end, just about pipped him. Race 2, I think I got lucky and avoided the grenade, and then yeah, race 3 I worked quite well with Matt, so I was happy to just follow him through. And then James's pace, I don't know where it came from. I didn't know if he was sort of rattling the tyres off the thing, so I was like, okay, I might have another chance at him. And I stayed with him for about 4 laps, and then he just dropped me again. So yeah, it was one of those ones where I don't feel like I had the pace tonight, but I was quick enough in the right places, read the race well enough that yeah, somehow I've got 2 podiums out of it and a decent first race too.
Obviously, one more round left in the championship and no drop scores to rely on. How are you feeling about Zandvoort and one round with, especially with the momentum of Hoyland at the minute?
I mean, Hoyland's very, very quick. There's no doubt about it. I didn't actually know how close he was in the points before tonight, but I know he is also very, very close to a race ban, so we'll have to see what happens there. But as I said before, I'm just in this for fun, and I'm happy if Matt wins it. Fair play to him because he's been really, really quick. He's fair enough to race, and he's a good laugh. But I think I've put myself in the best position possible going into the last round, and we'll just have to see what happens. I don't actually know if I own Zandvoort, so this could be an interesting one.
Well, just as provisionally, Hoyland before tonight was 47 points behind you in the championship, and as you leave here, he's now second in the championship and 24 points back. So he's just under half the gap to the top spot. So he's definitely carrying momentum. But either way, you've had some good battles out there tonight. It looked like I think it was James Holman said it. It looked like it was, that's the way he's put. It's insane how much of a run you can get and nowhere to use it. It seemed like a lot of the time you were driving into spaces that there was just nowhere to go.
In race 2 especially, the track temp came up and you just had to be fast enough in the right place. It was so hard to make a move on the brakes, because if you even thought about snatching a front, then you just picked up understeer. With the temperature, race 3 seemed a little bit different. The grip stayed a little bit longer, so I imagine it may have been easier. But yeah, trying to get a run on anyone was tough. I think you might have seen it when I was behind John Roberts. I waited like 4 corners just so that the move was that little bit of a higher percentage. I think I had Alex right behind me, and there's been so many moves tonight where someone's shown a nose, or it's a low percentage move and it's backfired and they've lost 2 places because the car behind them just had an incredible undercut and done them both. So it was a real balancing act of make progress so you don't go back, but don't get too excited because you're going to go back as well.
Yeah, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back sometimes in these Clios, mate, but you've managed it very well, it seems. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Big shout out to Matt and James for the racing tonight, because that was brilliant in both races there towards the end. Shout out to you guys for the broadcast, to Francois for the work in the background, and then the stewards as well. I think they've had a quiet week last week. This week might be a little bit different. And then a shout out to Drew as well. Hopefully he's watching. If not, he'll be doing IMSA laps at Fuji or something. I don't know.
Sounds enthralling. Anyway, thank you very much as always, Dan. Well done again, and best of luck for Zandvoort next week.
Cheers, guys.
There we go, Dan McCauley, championship leader coming here. I think he will be happy to still be championship leader leaving here as well, won't he, Dara? Because there was quite a bit of pressure on him tonight, and as much as he's in it for fun, you still want to win, don't you?
Oh, yeah, you do, right. Been a really good season for him, and he's put himself into the best position. He's the one they want to catch, so therefore he's the one that they can't catch. But he wasn't the only one that was hoping to pick up some good points tonight. Might not be in the championship battle, but Mr. James Holman was able to ruffle a few feathers, get a win tonight. Welcome in, James. How are you feeling after that? Because you got some decent points, and obviously that race 1 win, last lap move, that must have felt good.
Yeah, it was a good evening. 1 or 2 small mistakes that cost me probably a shot at all 3, but I can't be too disappointed with that. It was a really good race and really enjoyed it, and the racing throughout the field I felt was fair all the way through. I know there was a bit of carnage knocking around, but it's just sort of the track that sort of produces that. So really enjoyed the racing, and it was a good evening.
Yeah, and I mean, you've had to fight your way back through the field, obviously, in race 2 after winning race 1. Started right on the back row of the grid. We all know what the Red Bull Ring's like to race on in pretty much any car, but what makes it particularly tricky in Clio is when you almost can't get the advantages into any corner.
Obviously, being front wheel drive, it just wants to understeer. So when you're on the limit, you're dicing with the 1x all the time, which it's not too bad in with having so many as a limit, and also when you're in a sort of a 3 or 4 wide situation, as I was a couple of times tonight, and I'm on a single screen, you just got to err on the side of caution and just sort of understand what car you're racing, and sort of sometimes sacrifice your own run a little bit. I made one or 2 really good moves, and then right at the end of that second race I chose the wrong side once, and I went from like 2nd to 5th or something, and that just killed me. So but that's pack racing, and that's what it's all about, and that's just the way I suppose that's the way the cookie crumbles. But it was my own mistake, but I just put myself in the wrong place. But that's the way it is. Matt drove really well, and fair play to him in that last race, because I was a little quicker than him, but not enough. I just wanted to get into that within that 1 second window just to try and get into the toe, and but fair play to him, he didn't put a foot wrong, and he drove super tonight, and he was real fair when we were fighting in the first race as well, and we had a great battle there. So no, fair play to Matt, and yeah, really enjoyed that tonight.
Yeah, well said as well, and yeah, good racing as you said all the way through. One more quick little word from you though. Zandvoort next week, is that something you're looking forward to racing on?
Yeah, a few more corners, so that should make things a bit more interesting. And yeah, no, and also I think it will probably bring into a little bit the sort of the tyre situation, because you're leaning on the car so much at Zandvoort, you'll probably be killing the front tyres a bit more. Even though it's only a 20-minute race, it's still they can go off quite quickly if you overheat them. So yeah, I haven't done any laps in the Clio around Zandvoort, but actually I don't think I've done any laps on the new Zandvoort since it came into iRacing. So yeah, looking forward to it, and it should be a good end to the season. Obviously I'm not fighting for anything, I'm just trying to get the best results I can. So yeah, it was nice to get a win, and keep RD somewhat respectable.
Yeah, and I don't blame you for that at all either. And before we let you go, James, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Yeah, big shout out to my wife for letting me come and have a play, and especially when I'm trying to dial in my new wheel setup, and at the moment the curb strikes are sounding like the upstairs of the house is aching. So fair play to her for she came in, she goes, "What's going on?" And obviously big fair play to the team as well. Big shout out to the team. Obviously everyone's not there tonight, but Rob's still recovering, and so's Dylan, and yeah, Martin's on holiday I think, so I didn't see the holiday form go in, but he's obviously having a good time. So hopefully he'll be back next week.
Well said, James. Well said. Yeah, congratulations on the win. Well done on the podiums as well, and good luck for next week.
Cheers, mate. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye bye.
Well, there we go. James Holman, an absolute star, really lovely guy to speak to. And, well, he was absolutely rapid once again tonight, Dara. Really, really good to watch, and certainly one to keep our eye on for the final race meeting of the season.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week. We know what it's come down to. We know what the math is going to be going into it. The drivers know what's in front of them. It's going to be a fantastic week's worth of racing. And, yeah, somehow all comes down to it now, isn't it?
It's amazing how quickly these seasons do fly by, but we do literally have one race meeting left this season in the CDM Clio Cup. It's been a very interesting night of racing here at the Red Bull Ring. It was all nice and calm and tidy, and then it all went a little bit nuts. But these things happen. That's motorsport, and that's Clio racing. It is absolutely nuts. Thanks once again to all of the championship supporters. Thank you very much to Fireback Glass, to Feel Air, to Abruzzi, everybody for putting on such a show in terms of the driving. Thank you, Dara, for being a joy to work with as always. Thank you, Francois, for his continued hard work behind the scenes to help me keep my sanity where I can. And thank you, everybody, for watching. I just hope, oh my God, he's in my head. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the show once again tonight. We'll be back in a week's time for the season finale of the CDM Clio Cup.